everyone, and welcome back. My name is Mark. I am your driver, and today we are going for a spin in this 2024 Subaru Outback. It is not a wilderness, although it is the highest trim before you get to the wilderness, which is over there. So you'll notice it's not as high up. It's not quite as comical. It's a little bit more subdued, except for the extravagant amount of chrome on the side of this thing, which I think, to be honest, this is a flattering shade or finish. This is less so. So I think if they could maybe do a little bit more satin, I think this would look a little bit more cohesive and a little bit less but I think overall it's a very fetching looking wagon. I think that wagons they're just so wonderful. They're just wonderful cars, and they're so practical, and they drive a little bit better than SUVs, and no one buys them. And I don't really know why. I think, well, maybe they got a bit of a bad rap in, the 70s and 80s when they were just sort of big, boaty, slow things that everyone's parents had. But I mean, this is gigantic. You have seat pulls to pull down your second row seats, which is nice. You've got hooks for bags. You've got straps, tie downs. Everything you could want back here, you have back here, and in such excess. I mean, that's huge. Let's put the power trunk back down, which can also be locked from the button. Get the dealer plate on, and let's go check out the inside and go for a spin. I will start with the back seat though, which I have set. So this is behind myself at 6'3", and my feet slide nicely under the chair in front. I've got decent legroom, although it is a bit close. If I sit bolt upright, I do have plenty of headroom. And this chair actually reclines, so I can recline it there a little bit. I have mountains of headroom, plenty of knee room, and my feet are not squished. We also have power back here. We have our own, not full climate zone, but we can turn the air up or down. And we do have heated seats, which is nice. And overall, the materials in the back here, this is soft, harder, but still soft. Yeah, this is a great place to be back here. Got your cup holders, your armrest. This is perfect. This is really comfortable. I have so much space back here. And I'm 6'3", which is giant. No, it's not that tall, but it's tall enough that you look terrible or just unflattering getting out of any low car. But this is a high car. Into the driver's seat. We have push button start, obviously. We have all the sort of creature comforts you'd expect in here. Agree? Okay. So we've got heated and cooled seats up front, heated seats in the rear. They feel really nice. And this padded, can you see that? I can hear the air squeezing out. That is ridiculous. And this, I physically cannot find the end of the padding in the door. This is just a pillow. That's ridiculous. I love it. This is nice and stitched. This is nice and stitched. I really like how this all sort of wraps around. This is all soft. This is a little bit less soft, but still soft, which means I can rest my knee here and not whack it against any hard plastic. The piano gloss black plastic. Why is it in such a large area? It's gonna scratch. That's all I have to say about that. Cup holders. There's a little pocket here on the side, but I think this area here could just be a little bit maybe better organized. You got a spot for your phone, which I shall demonstrate. It's a 12 Pro Max, so it's large, fits in there well enough. It charges, it's gonna stay in. Physical volume, physical tuning knob, physical up and down for your climate controls. Unfortunately, they're gloss black. This is all done through the infotainment, which is fine. It just is a bit slow to start up in the cold, and you do have to treat it like an actual head unit and not a phone, even though it looks like one, because it will sort of occasionally miss swipes or miss taps and things, or just so like that, sorry. Just stuff like that. It's a little bit odd sometimes. Got ample space in the glove box, a little bit of storage up here, which is nice and grippy. And then you have this kind of cool two-tier storage system, so I suppose you could put a phone or something in there. And then you can use these. This is very usable. This is a very easy cabin to get acquainted with, and I'm sorry, I love these buttons. Those are wonderful, seriously. And then the paddles. Weirdly giant paddles on a CVT car. Weird third paddle for the heated steering wheel. And we're in drive. Let's go. This Outback is powered by the F824F turbocharged 2.4 liter boxer 4-cylinder, which makes 260 horsepower and around 270 pound-feet of torque. It makes that horsepower around 5,800 RPM, so not terribly high, and it makes that torque between 2,000 and 4,000, which means this can just kind of sit and pull, which is awesome, because CVTs, as we know, are kind of just sit and pull gearboxes that don't it's not the most audibly pleasing thing in the world when a CVT is having to keep the engine at like 5,500 RPMs all the time. But this engine and gearbox combination, it really just, you have to struggle to get it above 2,000. There's no CVT droniness. Honestly, you forget about the gearbox the second that you actually start to drive this thing, because it's just able to keep the revs so low all the time. It's not the sportiest engine in the world. I know it's in the WRX and everything, but it's not a rev happy, sports car engine that just happens to be in a wagon. It's a torque fill engine. It's a mid-ranger engine. It's made to kind of sit at 2,000 to 4,000 and get you up to speed. It's not necessarily meant to do anything crazy, although it does provide a shockingly healthy amount of power to this car. The CVT just eliminates any, sorry about that. The CVT tends to eliminate a lot of the snappiness. So it feels like the car isn't perhaps as fast as it is, but it is actually very quick. That's a terrible way of describing it to you, but there's boost. Bump. It's nice. It wants to rotate. That's not bad. It's a bit roly-poly, but then again, it is a lifted wagon, and that's kind of the charm of this car, is that it's just not a serious vehicle. If it was big and boxy and imposing, yeah, maybe it's taking itself seriously, but Subaru does just such a good job making these happy, endearing cars. I don't know what it is. Like, it's just a happy mobile. I'm just happy driving this thing. It's soft. The suspension is plush and pillowy, but it's not roly-poly or motion sickness inducing. It's just so soft and compliant. And it's refreshing because everything is getting bigger wheels with harsher and sportier suspension. And this is just so happy being what it is. Let's take it back up again and see kind of what that torque and CVT looks like. no SI drive in this, but there is a manual mode. I'm just gonna keep it in auto, see what the CVT does. Let's stick on some pace. Yeah, that moves. Certainly not a sports car by any stretch of the imagination. It handles exactly like you think it would, but that's kind of the whimsy of it. It's a wagon. It's kind of old school. It's kind of, it's kind of loose and comfortable. The steering's still sharp enough to give you an idea of what's going on, but it doesn't take away from just the relaxed golden retriever nature of this car. It is honestly just a golden retriever. It's just sort of big and happy and floppy and just kind of wants to go wherever, do whatever, It's just happy to be there. Take me to Subaru of London.
Getting directions to Subaru of London.
Awesome. I know, it's for cyclists. We're being generous, we're sharing the road. I know you want to keep me safe, but we gotta keep other people safe too. Gentle parenting is Subaru. Alright, let's give them just a little second. No big deal. It handles quite well. It's going to safe understeer, obviously, but within that you can have some fun. And before you get from slight understeering to full crazy understeer in a dangerous situation, there's probably going to be some amount of fun that you can have with getting it to, brake vector or something like that and get it to kind of step the tail out just a wee bit. I think it's fun to drive. I think it can be fun to drive. Especially with this engine. I quite like this powertrain. And it's just so comfortable and it's smooth. I know everyone's gonna hate me for the CVT, but it kind of makes sense. It's smooth. It's reasonably predictable. Doesn't drone. It's a turbo motor, so it makes all of its torque down low and keeps its torque until moderately up high, which means that this car can just sit at 2,500 RPM when you're actually on it. Okay, thank you. It can just kind of sit at 2,500 RPM when you're, getting up to speed, and at that rev range, it's pretty silent. So you'd never really know that you're accelerating anyways. I think it works quite well. It just keeps the car in the power band exactly where it needs to be. And even with the paddle shifters, they're reasonably responsive, but there's something about a turbocharged wagon with a total slush box for a transmission that's kind of really sick. So we'll go up here. Gearbox is just so smooth. Now, would I recommend this? Yes. If you're someone who can live with the technology, that's probably the only gimmick of this car is the screen. If you can get over the screen, it's a very gimmickless, advertising-less car. They're not having to shove, 0 to 60 times or really anything of that nature down your throat with the marketing material. It really just is what they say it is, and it's a comfortable, family-friendly, very capable car The Wilderness trim is $53,000 Canadian. This, I believe, is just a little bit less than that. So think 53, 52, or 51 to 53. So in that price category, we're looking at sort of top trim RAV4. Base model 4Runner is $10,000 more than most expensive Wilderness trim of this. So maybe not cross-shopping 4Runner. You might be cross-shopping a CX-50. That's a pretty compelling argument. The Nissan Pathfinder is around the same price for the Rock Creek Edition. I still think I'd have this though. And yeah, it's got a CVT, but it just parks it where the torque is. That's weird. It's weird watching the revs drop as I accelerate faster. It's bizarre, but it's cool and it's smooth. And it makes it just so 90s. Slush box, turbo wagon, it's cool. And counterintuitively, the Wilderness Edition has a lower final drive, which means it's actually a little bit quicker than the